How do I control my emotions? I often get carried away or cannot deal in many situations. I want Stoic advice on this. Can you enlighten me?
Emotions, they're the chains that hold you back, the weights that drag you down. But what if you could break free? What if you could master those emotions, control them, and use them as weapons instead of shackles today? We're diving deep into the art of becoming emotionless. Rule number one: don't love anyone too much. Love is a beautiful emotion. It bends us, connects us, and often gives our lives meaning. However, excessive love or attachment can become a do-it-is. It can cloud our judgment, make us vulnerable and weak, that lead us down paths of depression when that love isn't reciprocated or is lost. The Stoics, philosophers who championed emotional resilience, often spoke about the dangers of attachment. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once remarked, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This strength he speaks of is the ability to love without becoming overly attached. It's the strength to appreciate the beauty of a relationship without letting it define your entire existence in our personal lives. This lesson becomes even more evident. Think back to a time when you might have loved someone too much, to the point where their actions or decisions control your happiness. The pain of betrayal, the agony of heartbreak, or even the simple disappointment of unmet expectations can be overwhelming. But what if you could love with the same intensity without the vulnerability? The key lies in understanding that love is fleeting. Like all emotions, it comes and goes, and while it's present, it should be cherished. However, it shouldn't become the anchor that holds you down. Instead, let it be the wind that pushes your sails, guiding you, but not defining your direction. Your direction should be controlled by only you. By mastering the art of detached love, you not only protect your heart, but also empower your soul. You become capable of forming deep connections without the fear of losing yourself in them. This is the first step towards becoming truly emotionless, where you control your emotions and they don't control you. Rule number two: don't care for everyone and become less empathetic. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, is often called as one of the most virtuous human virtues. It allows us to connect, to comfort, and to build bonds. However, excessive empathy can be draining both mentally and emotionally. It can throw us to the problems and emotions of others, often at the cost of our own well-being. Epicus, another renowned historic philosopher, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it, that matters." This wisdom holds especially true when it comes to empathy. While it's natural to feel for others, it's crucial to determine when to engage and when to distance oneself. Imagine being a sponge that absorbs every drop of water it comes into contact with. Over time, without wringing out the excess, the sponge becomes oversaturated and loses its effectiveness. Similarly, when we care too deeply for everyone and everything, we risk becoming emotionally saturated. Our judgment becomes clouded, our energy gets depleted, and we lose focus on our own needs and aspirations. Now, this doesn't mean turning a blind eye into the suffering or joys of others. Instead, it's about selective empathy. It's about choosing when to invest emotionally and when to maintain a level of detachment. By doing so, you shield yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil and ensure that when you do choose to care, it's genuine, focused, and impactful. In the journey to become emotionless, this selective empathy becomes a powerful tool. It allows you to navigate the world with clarity, ensuring that your emotional energy is spent wisely and not squandered on every passing feeling or situation. Rule number three: cut off toxic people from your life. The people we surround ourselves with play a pivotal role in shaping our emotions, thoughts, and overall well-being. Just as a single rotten fruit can spoil the entire basket, a toxic individual can cast a shadow over our lives, draining our energy and clouding our judgment. The Stoics believed in the power of self-preservation and self-respect. They understood that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can choose our associations. Diogenes, a philosopher known for his stoic and aesthetic views, once said, "We have two ears and one tongue, so that we would listen more and talk less." This is a reminder that we should be observant of the company we keep and listen to our intuition. Reflect on your own life. Are there individuals who constantly bring negativity, sow doubts, or undermine your ambitions? These are the toxic influences that one must learn to distance from. It's not about harboring animosity, but recognizing that for one's own emotional well-being, certain ties need to be severed or distanced. Cutting off toxic people is not an act of cruelty. It's an act of self-love. It's a declaration that you value your peace of mind and emotional health above all else. By doing so, you create a protective barrier, ensuring that negativity, doubt, and pessimism find no place in your life in the pursuit of becoming emotionless. This step is crucial. It's about cleansing your emotional environment, ensuring that you're surrounded by positivity, support, and genuine care. Remember, the journey to mastering one's emotions starts by ensuring that external influences align with your inner goals. Rule number 4: don't express your feelings and views towards anyone anymore. In a world that constantly encourages us to speak our minds and wear our hearts on our sleeves, there's a counterintuitive power in silence and restraint. While open communication is essential in many aspects of life, there's a profound strength in choosing when and where to express our innermost feelings and views. The Stoics often emphasize the importance of inner tranquility and the dangers of external validation. Mark Aurelius once noted, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By constantly seeking validation or reactions from others, we place our emotional well-being in their hands. Think about the times you've shared a personal achievement or a deeply held belief to get external only validation, to get others' opinions. But what do you get? You get criticism or mockery, even jokes. Such experiences can be disheartening and can share our confidence. But what if you held that power within, not letting external reactions control your emotional state? Choosing not to express every feeling or view isn't about suppression. It's about empowerment. It's about understanding that not every thought needs an audience, and that our inner world doesn't always require external validation. By practicing this restraint, you cultivate a sense of self-assurance. Next, your emotions, beliefs, and views become unshakable because they're no longer at the mercy of others' opinions. In the quest to become emotionless, this rule serves as a protective shield. It ensures that your emotional core remains strong, undisturbed by the fleeting opinions and reactions of the world around you. Rule number 5: set boundaries and stop being always available. Boundaries, both physical and emotional, are essential for maintaining a sense of self and ensuring our well-being. In an age of constant connectivity, where we're expected to be available at all times, setting boundaries can seem like a hard task. However, it's this very important act that can lead us to emotional freedom and strength. The Stoics believed in the value of time and the importance of introspection. As Seneca once said, all the time you have only belongs to you. Yet how often do we waste it by being perpetually available to everyone, responding to every message instantly, or attending to every demand immediately? By not setting boundaries, we send a message to the world that our time, energy, and emotional well-being are up for grabs and has no value. This constant availability can lead to burnout, resentment, sadness, depression, and a feeling of being overwhelmed. It's like leaving the doors and windows of your house wide open, allowing anyone and anything to come in and disrupt your peace. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that you value your time, your emotional energy, and your peace of mind. It means learning to say no without guilt, taking time for yourself without justification, and understanding that being less available doesn't mean you care any less. It simply means you care about yourself too. And the journey towards becoming emotionless, setting boundaries, is a vital step. It ensures that your emotional reservoir isn't constantly being drained. It allows you to maintain a sense of equilibrium and strength regardless of external demands. Rule number 6: put yourself first and become straightforward. As we near the conclusion of our journey towards emotional strength, Rule 6 emphasizes the importance of putting yourself first and embracing straightforwardness. To truly become emotionless in the sense of being unshaken and motivated, you must prioritize your own well-being. It's not about neglecting others, but about recognizing that you can't be of help to anyone if you neglect yourself. Consider the airline safety instructions that tell you to put on your own oxygen mask before for assisting others. Similarly, in life, you must ensure your emotional stability and success before extending that support to others. Being straightforward is another crucial aspect of emotional strength. It means expressing your thoughts, needs, and boundaries clearly and without hesitation. This doesn't mean being rude, but it does mean being assertive and honest, avoiding indirect communication and people-pleasing is vital. When you're straightforward, you prevent misunderstandings, reduce stress, and foster genuine connections with those who respect your honesty. Incorporating all 6 into your life means making decisions that goes with your goals and values. It means saying no when necessary and being unapologetically yourself. Remember, it's not selfish to prioritize yourself and be straightforward. It's a step towards personal empowerment and success. With Rule 6, we conclude our journey towards emotional strength and becoming emotionless in the sense of being unshaken, motivated, and successful. You're now armed with the warrior's mindset. Beginning a journey of self-discovery and self-affirmation is a challenge we all face at some point in our lives in this context. A crucial aspect is learning to establish personal boundaries and understand the power of saying no. Often we find ourselves trapped in the habit of prioritizing the needs and desires of others, often at the expense of our own interests and well-being. This reflection aims to explore the dynamics underlying this behavior, highlighting the importance of recognizing and respecting our own limits. We will discuss how the act of stepping away from toxic situations or relationships is not just a gesture of self-preservation, but also a powerful expression of self-respect and autonomy. Throughout this text, we will explore the various facets of this process, considering how the ability to say no and maintain a clear direction set on in life can transform our relationship with ourselves and others, leading to a more authentic and fulfilling existence. Before we begin, check your subscription and feel free to leave a comment about your perspectives during the video. Let's start. It's an intriguing and quite common phenomenon, the tendency of many individuals to dedicate their time and effort to others, often even beyond their own limits and needs. But what is the root of this behavior? It could be an internal search for personal validation, a deep longing to be valued and accepted, or perhaps these people believe that their self-esteem is intrinsically linked to how they are perceived by others. This excessive concern with others' perceptions can turn into a trap. When you care too much about what others think, you run the risk of losing your own identity. You become a reflection of others' expectations and opinions, as if your existence depended on the approval of others. This can be exhausting, and in many cases lead to a vicious cycle of relentless pursuit of recognition and approval. This journey in search of acceptance can be motivated by various reasons. Some may feel insecure about their own worth, depending on external validation to feel worthy. Others may have grown up in environments where love and attention were conditioned on meeting others' expectations, leading them to believe that this is the only way to be loved or respected. However, it's crucial to recognize that this constant pursuit of others' approval can be a lonely and unsatisfying path. It's like trying to fill an inner void with something that's always out of reach. The key to breaking this cycle may lie in developing a healthier relationship with oneself, learning to value your own opinions and needs. By doing so, one can begin to embark on a path of greater authenticity and personal satisfaction, where the opinions of others are just one part of the whole and not the defining factor of one's happiness and self-esteem. Many of you at some point find ourselves giving our time and energy to others. But why does this happen? Is it a search for self-affirmation or a deep desire to be appreciated? Excessive concern with others' opinions can turn us into true hostages of these judgments. If you often find yourself in this situation, I want to share with you a valuable strategy to reclaim your sovereignty and self-esteem. This strategy is simply known as walking away. It may seem somewhat abrupt, but in some circumstances, it's a necessary step to reaffirm your personal power throughout life. We encounter various people. Some do not respect boundaries, others are overly dependent, or even cruel and selfish. Showing these people that you are willing to walk away not only reinforces your independence, but also regains control over your own life. The power of walking away is strengthened by two fundamental pillars: the ability to say no and the presence of a clear direction in your life. If you tend to get lost in the desires of others, or worse, feel used or abused, you likely struggle with refusing requests and lack a defined purpose. Having a clear goal shows the world that you value your time and, by extension, your life. This naturally distances you from situations where your boundaries are disrespected. Keeping focused on your path reduces the need to seek external approval. Remember, walking away is not just a physical action, but a mindset of self-worth and respect. Adopting this stance sends a powerful message: you are in charge of your life. Thank you for dedicating your time to this reflection. Walking away might sound like a harsh move, but at certain times it becomes an essential action to assert one's autonomy in a given scenario. Throughout life's journey, we cross paths with countless people. Some of these interactions are fleeting, like leaves in the wind, while others deeply root themselves in our hearts. Each encounter, whether brief or lasting, leaves its unique imprint on our personal story. Deciding to step back is not always easy. Often it comes with a mix of emotions, a blend of relief with a tinge of melancholy. But it's important to remember that taking control of our own narrative is a sign of maturity and self-awareness. Knowing when to say goodbye, when to close a chapter, is a vital skill in building a fulfilling and authentic life. In some cases, This choice might seem selfish to others, however, it's an act of self preservation by moving away from situations or people that no longer resonate with our values or aspirations. We make room and enriching experiences. This journey of personal discovery is a mosaic of meetings and farewells, each contributing a unique color to the larger picture of our existence. These moments of departure, though sometimes painful, are crucial for our growth. They teach us about our limits, desires, and most importantly about who we truly are. By sharing these reflections, I hope to spark curiosity and interest in my audience, encouraging them to look at their own stories with a new perspective full of possibilities and learning among the various people who cross our paths. Some present particular challenges in understanding and respecting personal boundaries. Some can be overly dependent, clinging to us and demanding a disproportionate amount of our time and energy. These interactions, although often well-intentioned, can become exhausting, creating an imbalance in the relationship. On the other hand, there are those individuals we might classify as unpleasant and ill-intentioned. These are people who unfortunately see social interactions as an opportunity for manipulation and exploitation. They can act cry using sarcasm, criticism, or abusive behaviors to belittle others, aiming for their own benefit without any consideration for the well-being of others. These negative interactions, though challenging, offer valuable learning opportunities. They teach us the importance of establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries. Learning to identify and deal with such personalities is crucial for our emotional health and personal development. It teaches us to be assertive, to stand up for our values, and to not allow others to treat us disrespectfully or harmfully. By making the conscious decision to distance ourselves from those who do not respect our boundaries, we are sending a powerful message, both to ourselves and to them. This attitude clearly demonstrates that we are not owned by anyone, and that we have the power and autonomy to choose who is part of our lives. This gesture of withdrawal is not just an act of self-affirmation, but also an important step in regaining control over our own well-being and capabilities. This choice to distance ourselves can be seen as an act of self-defense and preservation. By distancing ourselves from toxic people or draining relationships, we are taking care of our mental and emotional health. We are prioritizing our personal space and investing in our own growth. It's a reminder that we are the primary agents of our happiness and inner peace. Moreover, this action can have a significant impact on those who are prone to overstepping boundaries. It can serve as a call for reflection, an opportunity for them to recognize the impact of their actions and perhaps initiate changes in their behavior. The power of walking away is indeed reinforced by two fundamental pillars: the assertiveness of no and the clarity of direction. Firstly, the word no is a powerful tool in the art of setting boundaries. It's simple, direct, and effective. By saying no, you communicate your needs, preferences, and limits clearly. This act of self-affirmation is essential for maintaining healthy and respectful relationships. It's a declaration of independence, showing that you are in control of your choices and actions. No is more than just a refusal. It's an act of self-respect and self-awareness. It allows us to reject situations that displease us, commitments that overburden us, and behaviors that disrespect us. This word, when used assertively and respectfully, is a sign of inner strength and confidence. Secondly, direction is the element that guides us to where we want to go, both literally and metaphorically. Having a direction means having goals, aspirations, and a sense of purpose in life. Knowing where you are headed makes it easier to make decisions and choose paths that align with your values and objectives. Direction gives us focus, helping us avoid distractions and negative influences. Together, no and direction form a powerful combination. While no protects us from unwanted external influences, direction keeps us on the path to achieving our goals and dreams. These two concepts are crucial for maintaining personal integrity and following a path that is truly our own. If you find yourself frequently yielding to the whims of others, or in more severe cases being exploited, manipulated, or abused by others, this might indicate a difficulty in asserting no and a lack of clear direction in life. These are warning signs that deserve attention and reflection. The inability to say no often stems from a desire to please, to avoid conflict, or from the belief that our needs and desires are less important than those of others. This behavior, though it may seem harmless at first, can lead to a cycle of self-denial and resentment and create an environment conducive to being used or abused. On the other hand, a lack of direction can be the result of uncertainties, a lack of self-awareness, or fear of pursuing our true interests. Without a clear direction, It's easy to be swayed by the will and objectives of others, thus missing the opportunity to live a life that is truly our own. Recognizing these patterns in oneself is the first step towards change. It begins with strengthening self-esteem and self-awareness, understanding what we truly value and desire for our lives. From there, we can start practicing assertiveness, learning to say no when necessary, and to set and pursue our own goals and aspirations. Indeed, the inability to say no and a lack of clear direction in life can lead to a less firm and assertive stance. When we are not anchored in our own values and objectives, we become more susceptible to the influence and interests of others. This lack of firmness can be perceived by others, and in some cases unfortunately exploited. When people notice this absence of direction in someone, they may feel encouraged to impose their own wills and objectives onto that person. This can occur subtly or more directly, but the result is the same. You might end up living a life that is more a reflection of others' expectations and desires than of your own aspirations. It's important to emphasize that having a direction in life doesn't mean having an inflexible plan or an unchangeable vision of the future. It means having a sense of purpose, knowing what is important to you, and making decisions that align with those values and objectives. Direction provides a guide, an internal compass that helps navigate the complexities and challenges of life. The ability to say no, on the other hand, is an act of self-affirmation. It's recognizing and honoring your own limits, needs, and desires. Saying no is not just a rejection of something unwanted, it's also an affirmation of oneself and what you value. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity. When people notice someone's lack of commitment to personal goals, they may indeed start to view that person's time as less valuable than their own. This perception can lead to a harmful dynamic, where it's expected that you prioritize the needs and desires of others above your own. Such a situation not only diminishes the importance of your time and efforts, but can also establish a pattern where your own goals and aspirations are consistently put on the back burner. This dynamic can be subtle and is often not done with malicious intent. However, it reinforces the idea that the needs of others are more important, which can lead to a cycle of self-neglect. When you spend most of your time meeting the expectations of others, you might end up missing the opportunity to invest in yourself and your own goals. This situation highlights the importance of developing a sense of direction and purpose. Having clear and personal goals helps to establish healthy boundaries and make decisions that reflect your own priorities. This doesn't mean ignoring the needs of others, but rather finding a balance between helping others and taking care of yourself. Moreover, learning to value your own time and efforts is crucial. This involves recognizing your worth and the importance of your own goals and aspirations. By valuing yourself, you teach others to do the same. From the perspective of those who see others as less committed to their own goals, there may arise the notion that by dedicating time to meet their demands, you are in a way using your time, usefully serving their interests. This view is problematic because it places the value of your time and efforts solely in the context of its usefulness to others, and not in relation to your own satisfaction and personal growth. This mindset can lead to the belief that your worth is intrinsically tied to your ability to be useful to others, rather than recognizing your inherent value as an individual. Such an approach not only minimizes the importance of your own aspirations and needs, but can also lead to a loss of self-esteem and a feeling of dissatisfaction with life. It's essential to recognize that being useful to others is just one of the many ways to spend your time valuably. The true value of your time also manifests when you are working toward your own goals, taking care of yourself, or simply doing things that bring you joy and satisfaction. By dedicating yourself intensely and intentionally to a personal goal, you are engaging in a journey of significant self-appreciation. This dedication not only reflects a clear definition of priorities, but also resonates as an affirmation of the value of your time and life. This stance sends a strong signal both to yourself and to those around you, in indicating that each minute is precious and should be used in a thoughtful and meaningful way. This choice to live with a clear purpose fundamentally changes how others perceive you. People start to see someone who makes conscious choices about how to invest their time, someone who is not available to be indiscriminately consumed by the whims of others. Instead of being perceived as a resource available to others, you are seen as an individual with your own desires, ambitions, and passions. Committing to your goals has several marked advantages. First, There's a sense of authenticity and integrity. Your actions and choices begin to reflect your internal values and beliefs, providing a sense of genuine and true life. Second, this dedication fosters an increase in self-respect and consequently the respect others have for you. When you demonstrate that you value your own time, you naturally teach others to do the same. Furthermore, this attitude of commitment can serve as a source of inspiration for those around you, observing your effort and the achievements that come from it. You become a positive example, encouraging others to pursue their own dreams and passions. There's also the crucial aspect of establishing healthy boundaries. By dedicating yourself to your goals, you learn to say no to demands that don't align with your priorities, maintaining a healthy balance between meeting the needs of others and your own. Furthermore, maintaining a focus on your personal goals and aspirations is an effective strategy for walking away from situations where your boundaries are violated or where you are subjected to abuse. This ability to steer away from harmful environments is crucial in various aspects of life, whether in the workplace, marital relationships, or even friendships. In a professional context, for instance, having a clear sense of direction can help you identify when a work situation is becoming toxic or detrimental, whether it's due to colleagues who don't respect your boundaries or an excessive and unbalanced workload. Knowing when and how to step back can be vital for your mental health and career progression. Similarly, in personal relationships such as marriage or friendships, the ability to stay true to your own goals and values helps to identify when these relationships are becoming one-sided or harmful. It can often be difficult to recognize and admit that a close relationship is doing more harm than good. However, by focusing on your own needs and goals, you become more adept at realizing when it's time to withdraw and seek healthier and more balanced environments and relationships. This ability to step away is not just a form of self-preservation. It's also an act of self-respect. It involves recognizing your own worth and understanding that you deserve to be in situations and relationships that are respectful and reciprocal. By incorporating these concepts into a narrative, the message conveyed is one of empowerment and self-defense. It encourages listeners to consider the importance of protecting themselves from harmful situations and to recognize the value of seeking environments that promote their well-being and personal growth. Being focused on your own path has the effect of reducing excessive concern with the affairs and opinions of others. When you concentrate on yourself, the need to seek external approval diminishes significantly. You begin to understand that the only person you really need to prove anything to is yourself. This kind of self-knowledge and self-confidence is liberating and fundamental to building an authentic and fulfilled life. Walking away from abusive people and destructive environments is a powerful way to protect your self-respect and integrity. This is not a sign of weakness, but rather of strength and self-awareness. By making this decision, you are choosing not to allow your mental health and well-being to be compromised by toxic situations or relationships. This attitude also sends a clear message to the world around you. You are in control of your life. You decide who and what deserves your time and energy. This doesn't mean you don't care about friends, family, or partners. On the contrary, it shows that while you love and value your relationships, you are not dependent on them for your happiness or sense of self-worth. Establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries is a way of demonstrating that you respect yourself and expect the same respect from others. Adopting the stance of walking away in negotiation situations sends a powerful message, especially in a business context. This attitude signals to others involved that you have other options, and that while interested, you are not wholly dependent on that specific deal for progress. This is a demonstration of confidence and an abundance mindset, which can be incredibly influential in negotiations. The abundance mindset is not necessarily based on having a lot of money, possessions, or a vast social circle. Instead, it's about an internal perspective, a state of contentment and confidence in one's ability to achieve and create opportunities. When you operate from this viewpoint, you radiate a sense of self-assurance and self-sufficiency that can be very attractive and persuasive to others. This concept also applies in personal relationships. Loving and valuing people in your life is natural and important, but it's crucial to understand that you don't need them for your own happiness or sense of worth. This understanding allows you to establish healthier and more balanced relationships where there is no excessive dependency. In negotiation, the willingness to walk away and take it seriously is often the strongest position. This is because it demonstrates that you are making a conscious choice, not acting out of desperation or necessity. By being prepared to leave the negotiation table, If the conditions are not favorable, you maintain control and integrity of the situation. This stance not only increases your chances of achieving a favorable outcome, but also ensures that regardless of the outcome, you remain in a position of power. Imagine being the most powerful person in the world, unlimited freedom. But with constant threats, wars, diseases, betrayals sounds contradictory, doesn't it? But that was the daily reality of Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who, despite his power, faced challenges that would make anyone feel powerless today. I'm going to reveal how he found in Stoicism an astonishing antidote to dissatisfaction, a philosophy that transformed not only his life, but mine as well. Before I start, I want to thank each of you for your incredible support. Your actions not only help me, but also unite us in the journey to explore wisdom that can change our lives. Let's discover together how the strength of an emperor can inspire our lives today. Moving on in the narrative, it's intriguing to reflect on why some people choose not to respond in certain situations. It can feel like treading on delicate ground. However, someone's lack of response is not a sign to give up or surrender. But how then can you turn this apparent rejection into a positive turnaround? By the end of this video, you will have effective strategies to deal with indifference and discover how reverse psychology can be a powerful ally in making the person reconsider their attitude. Before we continue, I'd like to ask a favor. If you can please leave a like and activate the notification bell. This simple gesture has a great impact as it helps the YouTube algorithm understand that you appreciate our content, thereby increasing the video's visibility to more people. I greatly appreciate your support. Firstly, it's essential to ignore those who try to diminish your worth in the face of coldness and disinterest. It's crucial not to be shaken, but to rise above these circumstances. Ignoring someone who rejects you is not an act of hostility, but a powerful statement of self-esteem. Imagine someone considering your time worthless. You're not the one losing in that situation. By choosing not to engage, you are in fact reaffirming your own value. It's like holding up a mirror in front of yourself, reflecting and demonstrating that such behavior doesn't affect you. But how do we achieve this without becoming bitter? The answer is simple. Focus on your life, your goals, and your happiness. Dedicate yourself to enriching activities like reading, playing sports, learning new skills, or simply enjoying the company of those who value you. It's not about seeking retaliation, but rather redirecting your energy to what really matters. Yes, sometimes you will be ignored. However, instead of dwelling on this rejection, turn it into a drive for your personal development. Strengthen your self-esteem and let the indifference of others dissipate in this empowerment. You're not just resisting rejection, you're thriving in spite of it. This dedication to self-development is a sign of emotional maturity. Showcasing your inner strength, remember your worth is not diminished by others' inability to recognize it. Stay true to yourself, letting your actions speak louder than the silence of others. Avoid impulsive reactions and opt for thoughtful responses. Maintaining your dignity and self-respect in challenging moments is a demonstration of strength and an affirmation that you are resilient in the face of indifference. Second key point, free your mind from them. The art of detachment proves to be a crucial tool in your strategy. Erase them from your thoughts. This doesn't mean denying or pretending that rejection doesn't hurt, but rather redirecting that experience into something that promotes your growth. Begin this process by acknowledging the rejection and feeling its impact. But don't let it dominate your thoughts. Like a seasoned sailor in turbulent waters, use the waves to propel your journey, instead of allowing them to sink your boat. To transform rejection, it's necessary to change how we perceive it. View rejection not as a blockade, but as a signpost directing you toward new paths and opportunities. Dedicate yourself to activities that nourish your essence and broaden your horizons. Dive into a challenging read, practice a sport that tests your limits, or engage in community projects that offer innovative perspectives. These experiences are not merely pastimes, but platforms for self-discovery and personal growth. Each new adventure contributes to your resilience and adaptability. Moreover, it is vital to cultivate a circle of positive influences. Surround yourself with people who encourage and inspire you. Share your aspirations and listen to theirs in an environment that fosters mutual growth. It's important to remember that rejection does not define your worth. It represents an invitation to rediscover and reinvent yourself. Along this journey, you will realize that what once seemed like painful rejection was in fact a push towards a more rewarding path. Avoid reacting in an emotionally impulsive way. Third essential point, avoid impulsive emotional reactions when faced with rejection. It's natural to feel a wave of emotions, to want to respond and let your feelings overflow. However, there's a valuable technique derived from the Guide to Serenity. When you are dismissed, it might be tempting to give in frustration or sadness. Yet Stoicism, a philosophy as relevant today as in ancient Greece, offers us an alternative perspective. It encourages us to adopt a reflective and calm posture. This doesn't imply repressing emotions, but avoiding letting them control us. When ignored, instead of getting upset or seeking external validation, take a pause and reflect. Why does this affect me often? It's not the rejection itself, but our own insecurities that hurt us. Practicality is key. If you are being ignored, take a deep breath and remind yourself this moment does not define who you are. It's just a passing instant. Stoicism guides us to focus on our actions and reactions, not the behavior of others. Therefore, remain polite and kind-minded. If you feel the need to interact, do so sincerely and without expectations. This stance is not pay, but emotional control. Recognize that your self-esteem is not tied to others' approval. Your true power lies in how you respond, not in how you are treated. While adopting this mindset is not easy, it is certainly transformative. By maintaining serenity in the face of rejection, you are not just managing a difficult situation, but growing. You learn that your inner peace does not depend on external validations. This is a journey towards self-confidence, where self-worth is leaned independently lie. By adopting this approach, you display authentic strength and resilience, and that in itself is tremendously attractive. People are naturally drawn to those who exhibit self-assuredness, who do not get destabilized by the first sign of indifference. By remaining calm, you not only face the situation, but also thrive in it. You transform into someone capable of handling rejection, using it as a catalyst for personal growth. This is Stoic wisdom, a path of personal strengthening and emotional balance. Fourth and fundamental aspect, demonstrate your value. This is a true test of your resilience. View each rejection not as a setback, but as an opportunity to display your strength and capability. When you are overlooked in a meeting or for a promotion, take a deep breath. Instead of succumbing to self-pity or resentment, redirect that energy into positive and constructive actions. Work on a project that showcases your skills or take the lead in a new challenge. Remember, your value is not diminished by others' lack of recognition. On the contrary, it's an opportunity to shine even brighter. Unfazed by disregard, remind yourself of the proverb, when one door closes, another opens. This is not merely a consolation, but a blueprint for action. Rejection does not reflect your intrinsic value, but can be a redirection to where your skills are most needed. If you are being overlooked for a position, it might be a sign to seek something more in harmony with your talents and passions. Use this as a stimulus to reassess and realign your strengths, looking for ways to maximize them. It's time to forge your own narrative of success, where each adversity serves as the backdrop for a triumphant comeback. It's not about faking happiness in the face of disappointment, but about embracing the full range of emotions and moving forward with grace and determination. Stoicism guides us to focus on what is within our control, our actions and reactions. In the face of rejection, practice empathy, both with yourself and with others. That colleague who appears indifferent might be facing their own battles. Expand your understanding, not as a sign of weakness, but as an indication of your strength. Grow from these experiences. Affirm your value, reflect, learn, and like a phoenix rise from the ashes of, not depend on external validations. This is a journey towards self-confidence, where self-worth is leaned independently lie. By adopting this approach, you display authentic strength and resilience, and that in itself is tremendously attractive. People are naturally drawn to those who exhibit self-assuredness, who do not get destabilized by the first sign of indifference. By remaining calm, you not only face the situation, but also thrive in it. You transform into someone capable of handling rejection, using it as a catalyst for personal growth. This is Stoic wisdom, a path of personal strengthening and emotional balance. Fourth, a fundamental aspect, demonstrate your value. This is a true test of your resilience. View each rejection not as a setback, but as an opportunity to display your strength and capability. When you are overlooked in a meeting or for a promotion, take a deep breath. Instead of succumbing to self-pity or resentment, redirect that energy into positive and constructive actions. Work on a project that showcases your skills or take the lead in a new challenge. Remember, your value is not diminished by others' lack of recognition. On the contrary, it's an opportunity to shine even brighter. Unfazed by disregard, remind yourself of the proverb, when one door closes, another opens. This is not merely a consolation, but a blueprint for action. Rejection does not reflect your intrinsic value, but can be a redirection to where your skills are most needed. If you are being overlooked for a position, it might be a sign to seek something more in harmony with your talents and passions. Use this as a stimulus to reassess and realign your strengths, looking for ways to maximize them. It's time to forge your own narrative of success, where each adversity serves as the backdrop for a triumphant comeback. It's not about faking happiness in the face of disappointment, but about embracing the full range of emotions and moving forward with grace and determination. Stoicism guides us to focus on what is within our control, our actions and reactions in the face of rejection. Practice empathy both with yourself and with others. That colleague who appears indifferent might be facing their own battles. Expand your understanding, not as a sign of weakness, but as an indication of your strength. Grow from these experiences. Affirm your value, reflect, learn, and like a phoenix rise from the ashes of rejection stronger or wiser. Thus, rejection is not the end of your story, but a turning point that propels you to become the most authentic and resilient version of yourself. Face it with the wisdom of the ages and the energy of youth, and watch yourself transform your greatest fear into your greatest ally for personal growth and success. Fifth vital point: reduce contact. When confronted with indifference or rejection, the impulse to try to fix the situation, to seek dialogue with the other party, trying to fill the void left behind, is common. However, this is the moment when you can change the dynamics and embrace silence. It's not about playing a game, it's about reaffirming your autonomy. By choosing not to inundate the other person with incessant messages or calls, taking a step back is crucial, and this pause benefits not just the other person, but you as well. It's an opportunity to recalibrate and remind yourself that your worth does not depend on others' approval. Delving deeper into this concept, here the silence is not passive, but active and strategic. You're not merely waiting, you're reflecting and maturing. It's the time to redirect your focus towards your goals, passions, and personal life. Consider this a reset button that offers clarity and empowerment. This interlude of no contact is not an expression of coldness or cruelty. It's the establishment of a boundary for your own mental tranquility. You're sending a clear message: I respect myself too much to chase after or beg for attention. Adopting this stance is not just liberating, but also so empowering. It speaks volumes about your self-esteem and confidence. Consider the powerful silent message you send in a world accustomed to immediate responses. Your silence can be enigmatic and even attractive, showing that you are not easily perturbed and have a life full of interest and priorities beyond this rejection. It's not about provoking regret or pulling someone back, but about demonstrating that you are firm, focused, and independent of external validations. This strategy might not change others' behavior, but it will certainly transform yours, making you more resilient, focused, and prepared to face future challenges with grace and balance. Reducing contact is a form of self-care and self-affirmation that puts you on the path to move forward in your life with confidence and dignity. Sixth fundamental point: demonstration of capability. The true art of using rejection is not just about proving others wrong, but about showing yourself what you are truly capable of. It's about turning a received no into fuel for your own growth and overcoming. Suppose someone questions your competence in a specific area. Here lies your opportunity to refine that skill. The goal is not to seek external approval, but to surpass your own limits. Dedicate yourself to learning and practice diligently, and achieve a level of proficiency that previously seemed unattainable. This isn't an ostentatious display for the skeptics, but a silent and consistent development of your competence and self-confidence. Consider the impact of your actions above your words. There's no need to broadcast your plans or progress. Let the results speak for themselves in doing. So you not only surpass others' expectations, but crucially your own as well. With each step on this journey, you're proving to yourself your capability and worth regardless of external opinions. The true power of resilience lies here. It's not based on winning others' approval, but in gaining your own self-approval. If they label you as lacking creativity, undertake a project that showcases your inventiveness. If you are considered evasive, let your consistent actions speak for you. This silent revolution of self-improvement is not a battle against others' perceptions, but a journey towards personal excellence by changing the narrative others have about you. You also transform your own essence. The reality of proving them wrong lies not in changing their opinions, but in reshaping your self-image. Your journey of self-improvement will not only surprise others, but also redefine their perception of your abilities. It's not just about proving them wrong, but redefining what it means for you to be right. And on this journey, the greatest achievement is realizing that the only truly relevant validation is the one you give yourself. Seventh crucial point: explore and have fun. If it is outside our comfort zone that life truly brightens, then seeking joy is not just a form of entertainment, but a clever strategy to strengthen resilience in the face of rejection. The common tendency may be to close off and stew in bitterness, but I suggest a revolutionary approach: counter that instinct by consciously seeking moments of happiness. It's not about ignoring your emotions, but providing them with a new context to thrive by exploring a new hobby or rekindling an old passion. This act becomes an affirmation of resistance against the weight of rejection. As inherently social beings, there is immense power in sharing experiences during times of adversity. Value your community, invite friends for a walk, get involved in a collective artistic project, or simply enjoy a meal in good company. These moments of connection do more than just lift your spirits, they reaffirm your place in the web of human relationships. Each shared laugh, each exchanged story is a subtle reminder that you are more than the sum of your setbacks. You are part of a broader narrative that flourishes in connection and collective resilience. Herein lies the true magic. Confronting the unknown. Rejection may seem like a closed door, but in reality it opens many others. Try a cuisine new to you, explore a neighborhood you've never visited, or sign up for a workshop on an unfamiliar topic. These experiences go beyond mere distractions. They are opportunities for personal expansion. Each new experience adds layers to your character, making you more adaptable, empathetic, and prepared for life's unpredictabilities. Remember, the goal is not to erase rejection from memory, but to evolve from it, transforming each received no into a push for a rich a more vibrant life. Eighth essential point: develop your social status. Consider the situation where you find yourself in a room being ignored or nearly invisible. Here lies a hidden opportunity. Stoic philosophy teaches us to transform these moments of rejection into catalysts for personal growth. Instead of seeking external validation, focus on self-improvement and community engagement. It's not about climbing the social ladder, but ascending your own ladder of personal development. Activities like exercising, exploring hobbies, or advancing in your career are not just routine tasks. They are tools for shaping a strong, more resilient version of yourself. Think of sharing your journey, not for recognition, but for the connection it can establish when discussing your interests or achievements. Transform it into an opportunity to meet like-minded individuals. This process is not a strategy to accumulate followers, but an authentic quest for meaningful connections. By engaging in volunteer activities or networking, you are not just enhancing you rest as you may, but building a valuable network of relationships. This approach has deep roots in Stoicism, where personal growth and contributing to the greater good are intertwined. In developing your social status, intention is what matters most. It's not about chasing popularity, but becoming an improved version of yourself. Each step should be towards personal growth, creating a positive impact in the community. This change in perspective is vital. It's not about being noticed, it's about observing, evolving, and consequently helping others develop. Adopting this Stoic mindset is an effective way to navigate the modern world, turning rejection into a powerful force for positive transformation. Embrace each opportunity to build and strengthen your social status in a way that reflects who you are and what you aspire to be, creating a meaningful impact on yourself and the community around you. Ninth key point: adopt reciprocal indifference. When someone ignores you, an effective and powerful response can be simply not to react. This attitude is not about malice or coldness, but preserving one's inner peace. If someone chooses to ignore you, let them. Avoid wasting energy trying to attract their attention or initiate dialogue. Instead, direct your focus elsewhere. In social contexts like parties, this may mean seeking out someone who appreciates your presence and starting a conversation with them. It's an acknowledgement that your worth does not depend on others' attention. In the inevitable situations where you must interact with this person, prioritize professionalism. Keep conversations brief, to the point, and devoid of deep personal content. The goal is not to outdo them, but to maintain a professional and detached stance. This approach leaves no room for unnecessary drama and send the message: I am here for what truly matters, not for the games. The strategy helps to keep the focus on what is essential, remaining steady and unshaken in the face of indifference. If the disregard persists, recognize the power of withdrawing. This is not defeat, but a strategic retreat. Understand that your energy is more valuable when invested in places, relationships, and activities that bring your happiness and growth by choosing not to engage in an unequal confrontation. You are not just moving away from a specific person, but advancing towards more promising opportunities, healthier interactions, and a more peaceful state of mind. Your way of dealing with indifference does not reflect failure, but is a testament to your strength and self-respect. Remember, in some instances, silence and indifference can be the most powerful and dignified responses. This approach is a silent declaration of independence and self-sufficiency. By practicing reciprocal indifference, you're not simply avoiding a confrontation, but positioning yourself as someone who values their own peace above the need for recognition or approval. It's a stance that communicates self-confidence and a clear understanding of your priorities and boundaries. In short, acting as if they do not exist is not a strategy of isolation, but a pathway to self-affirmation and personal empowerment. Take charge of your life. With the wisdom of history's greatest philosopher, Stoicism in the 21st century is your guide to resilience, well-being, and prosperity. Turn challenges into triumphs, stress into strength, uncertainty into clarity. Click now on the link in the pinned comment and begin your Stoic journey to a life of success and fulfillment. Get your ebook today. 10th crucial point: practice deliberate silence. Choosing silence over reacting with indifference is not a strategy to gain advantage, but a way to preserve dignity. Stoicism guides us to employ silence, not as a tool for provocation or manipulation, but as a means for self-reflection and emotional control in situations where words can be misinterpreted or exacerbate conflict. Opting for silence is an effective way to maintain integrity and self-control. This way, you focus more on your personal growth rather than getting trapped in a cycle of negative reactions and emotions. When someone ignores you and you respond with silence, turn that silence into a period of introspection. It's a time to understand your feelings, analyze your thoughts, and seek clarity. The goal is not to punish the other person, but to safeguard your inner peace. In this silence lies a valuable opportunity for personal growth. It's not about closing off to the world, but opening up to self-knowledge. Stoicism encourages using these moments to reflect on our virtues, values, and how we wish to interact with the world. It's a chance to question, why does this affect me? What can I learn from this? How can I evolve from here? This type of silence is constructive, not destructive. It's a time to strengthen character and align reactions with personal principles. Therefore, if you opt for silence, let it be a conscious decision grounded in self-care and wisdom. It is a choice to not engage in lower behaviors such as manipulation, revenge, or malice. Instead, it's an embrace of the Stoic call for temperance and self-control. By choosing not to respond, you're not just avoiding the other person, but also deeply connected with yourself. This practice is a way to maintain composure, focus on your personal journey, and embody the Stoic ideal of serenity in the face of adversity. Let your silence speak louder than any words could, and allow your inner peace to guide you at every step. This deliberate silence is an act of self-affirmation and a powerful reminder that you are the greatest healer and guide of your own life. It's an information that even in the face of indifference, you can find internal strength and wisdom to rise above the circumstances, staying true to your values and principles. It's a practice that transcends the immediate situation, providing a solid foundation for personal growth and fulfillment. 11th point: avoid begging for attention. In the face of indifference, Stoic philosophy guides us not towards seeking recognition, but towards a deep dive into our own value and independence. When someone ignores you, it is not a sign that you should intensify your efforts to capture their attention. On the contrary, it's a fitting moment for introspection and to reaffirm your own worth. Stoicism teaches us that self-esteem should not fluctuate with the attention or lack thereof of others. It's about standing firm and self-led and recognizing that your value is absolute and non-negotiable. Dedicate yourself to your passions and projects with a spirit of self-sufficiency. This is not about showing off to make someone realize what they're missing, but about recognizing the value of what you offer. Engage in activities that bring you satisfaction. Establish connections with people who value you and cultivate a life you can be proud of. This attitude is not passivity. It's a vibrant and active acceptance of your own existence. It's about investing so much in your own growth and happiness that the pursuit of external validation becomes secondary. Therefore, instead of chasing fleeting attention, focus on your personal development. Build a life that satisfies you regardless of others' perceptions. Let your self-confidence and assurance be your guides, not the craving for attention. Turn indifference into an opportunity to strengthen your resolve and intensify your understanding of your own worth. You are the creator of your life, and each choice you make should reflect your intrinsic value, not the pursuit of external approval. By adopting this stance, you are practicing a form of self-empowerment by refusing to beg for attention. You are choosing to value yourself more than any. Recognition that might come from outside this choice has the power to transform the way you see yourself, and in turn how others perceive you. The authenticity and self-esteem that emanate from this attitude have a much deeper impact than any attempt to draw attention. Your journey towards self-improvement and personal satisfaction creates an aura of confidence and natural attraction. This is the essence of what Stoicism seeks to teach: the importance of relying on one's inner strength and worth regardless of external circumstances. Therefore, when facing indifference, remember that your reaction to it can be a powerful affirmation of your own worth and autonomy. 12th point: kindness with emotional distance faced with indifference. The most balanced response is kindness, but with caution about your emotional world. This does not imply adopting a cold stance, but rather protecting your inner serenity. It's understandable to feel hurt or frustrated when ignored. But Stoicism encourages us to face such situations, not with emotional turmoil, but with calm and tranquility in the heart. Offer a smile, a polite greeting, or a simple good day wish, without expecting anything in return. Your kindness should be genuine, not an expectation of reciprocity. Maintaining emotional distance does not mean erecting walls around yourself, but establishing clear boundaries. This involves understanding that while you can control your own actions, you cannot control others' reactions. This emotional distance is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of strength and self-respect. It is a conscious decision not to let the actions of others affect your emotional state. By being friendly yet reserved, you signal that you will not allow others' indifference to disturb your peace of mind. This approach not only protects your emotional well-being, but also empower you. The combination of kindness with emotional detachment is a powerful expression of Stoic wisdom. This balance allows for gracious interactions while maintaining emotional integrity. It's a sign of self-respect and respect for others, reflecting maturity and understanding. You face life's rejections not with bitterness or sadness, but with an unwavering feeling of serenity and inner dignity. Practicing this balance leads to a valuable discovery. Even amidst indifference, it's possible to maintain a serene spirit and a respectful heart towards yourself and others. By cultivating this attitude, you'll find that life becomes not just more bearable, but also more enriching, marked by deep serenity and unwavering respect for your own path and value. 13th point: keep your struggles private in the face of indifference. It may be tempting to share your difficulties, but Stoicism teaches us to value composure. This doesn't mean pretending everything is fine, but rather developing internal resilience. Not showing affectation isn't a falsehood, but rather an indication of genuine inner stability. Continue with your life with the same enthusiasm and determination as always, not as a performance for others, but as a demonstration of your own strength. This focus is not about dinning feelings. Acknowledge your emotions, but don't let them dominate. Let calm and self-confidence be your guides. Control what's within your reach, your actions, reactions, and behavior. By continuing to live with confidence, you not only show others your strength, but also reaffirm it for yourself. It's a subtle yet powerful way to declare that your sense of self-worth does not depend on others' perceptions or actions. Essentially, by keeping your struggles to yourself, you are practicing the Stoic philosophy of emotional resilience. It's not about hiding your emotions, but managing them in a way that preserves your dignity and self-respect. It's a display of wisdom and integrity, showing that you are grounded in your own character and not as to be weighed by external circumstances. Your way of dealing with rejection is not just for the outside world to see. It's a reflection of your inner strength and stability. Through these powerful lessons, we learn how to turn rejection into a tool for success. Remember, each no you face is a step towards resilience, a lesson in Stoicism, teaching us to channel our inner strength. I challenge you to apply the principle of Stoicism and resilience in your daily life. It's easy for men to fall into the trap of chasing women. The pursuit of romance often turns into an exhausting and sometimes desperate endeavor. But what if I told you there was a better way to approach relationships? What if you could find happiness and contentment without chasing after someone's affection? This quest for understanding leads us to the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that can help you keep your cool, gain perspective, and cultivate respectful relationships. Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy, provides a framework for living a life guided by reason, virtue, and self-control. has stood the test of time because of its applicability to various aspects of life, including relationships. In this video, we will explore how the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, can inspire you to rethink the way you approach women love and the pursuit of happiness, understanding the pursuit to understand why chasing women may not be the best approach. Let's first delve into the psychology behind it. Many men feel compelled to chase women due to societal pressures, evolutionary instincts, or personal insecurities. Society often glorifies the idea of the relentless hunter who relentlessly pursued the object of their affection. This glorification can lead men to feel as though they must constantly prove themselves through extravagant displays of affection, relentless pursuit, and even manipulation. But Stoicism teaches us to take a step back, to pause, and to reflect on the consequences of our actions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, had much to say on the topic of desire and pursuit. He wrote in his Meditations, "Despise not death, but welcome it, for nature wills it like all else." In the context of pursuing women, this could be interpreted as a reminder that we must accept the natural course of events and not force them. Desperation and relentless pursuit often lead to unintended consequences, including damage to self-esteem, strained relationships, and unfulfilled desires. The Stoic path to contentment. In Stoicism, the ultimate goal is not the chase of external objects, such as women, but rather the cultivation of inner strength and resilience. By focusing on what is within our control, we can find contentment and happiness regardless of external circumstances. This philosophy encourages us to shift our focus from trying to change others or our environment to transforming ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic par excellence, provides invaluable guidance on this path to inner transformation. He encourages us to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one in the context of relationships. This means becoming the best version of ourselves rather than trying to mold someone else into our ideal partner. Instead of chasing women, focus on self-improvement, honing your character, and becoming a man of virtue and integrity. Virtue in relationships. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on virtue, living in accordance with reason and moral principles. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This principle is especially relevant when it comes to relationships. Instead of chasing women, strive to cultivate virtue within yourself. Practice wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. These virtues will not only make you a better person, but will also make you more attractive to potential partners. Rather than pursuing women, allow them to be drawn to the qualities that virtuous living cultivates. Embracing self-control. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the importance of self-control. The ability to manage your desires and emotions is central to living a Stoic life. It is essential to refrain from pursuing women out of impulse, neediness, or instant gratification. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength in the context of relationships. This means recognizing that you can control your reactions and emotions, even if you can't control the actions or feelings of others. By practicing self-control, you can maintain your composure and emotional stability, which is essential in any relationship. Respecting autonomy. Chasing women often involves ignoring their autonomy and desires, as the focus is on your own needs and desires. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us to respect the autonomy and individuality of others. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius writes, "Everything is right for me, which is right for you, O universe. Nothing for me is too early or too late, which comes in due time for you." This insight reminds us that we are part of a larger cosmic order, and our desires should align with that order. Instead of chasing women, we should respect their choices and boundaries. The art of patience in the pursuit of women. Impatience can be a significant stumbling block. The desire for instant gratification often leads to impulsive actions and ill-considered decisions. Stoicism advocates for patience, reminding us that some things are worth waiting for. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Instead of chasing women impulsively, be patient and allow time to reveal the true nature of your compatibility and connection. Rejection and Stoicism. Rejection is a common and often painful experience in the world of dating and relationships. Many men take rejection as a personal blow to their self-esteem, leading to anger, sadness, and frustration. Stoicism offers a different perspective on rejection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears. The Stoic teaching encourages us to refrain rejection. Instead of seeing it as a failure or an attack on yourself, worth view it as an upward opportunity for growth and self-improvement. Rejection does not define your value as a person. It is merely a part of the natural ebb and flow of life. The importance of perspective. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of maintaining a rational and balanced perspective on life's challenges and triumphs in the realm of relationships. This means not attaching your happiness to the outcome of your pursuit of women. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This perspective reminds us that life is a gift, and our happiness should not depend on external factors. Instead of chasing women as a means to an end, find happiness in the present moment and the relationships you already have. Building meaningful connections. Stoicism teaches us that the most meaningful and lasting connections come from authenticity and mutual respect. Rather than chasing women, strive to build genuine and deep relationships. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." V1 in the context of relationships. This means being authentic and genuine in your interactions with women. Be the best version of yourself, and you will naturally attract those who appreciate and value you for who you are. The power of contentment. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on finding contentment within ourselves rather than seeking it in external objects. This perspective can dramatically change the way we approach relationships. Marcus Aurelius reminds us very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking in the context of relationships. This means that chasing women in the hope of finding happiness is a futile endeavor. True contentment comes from cultivating a mindset of gratitude and acceptance. Freedom from attachment. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the idea of freedom from attachment to external things. This concept is particularly relevant to the pursuit of women. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In the context of relationships, this means that seeking revenge or retribution when faced with rejection or disappointment is not the Stoic way. Instead, practice freedom from attachment, letting go of the need for external validation and finding strength in self-sufficiency. The Stoic approach to love. Stoicism provides a unique perspective on love and relationships. It encourages us to cultivate a love that is virtuous, selfless, and enduring. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." In the context of love, this means rising above the petty games and dramas often associated with dating and relationships. Instead of seeking revenge or manipulation, practice a love that is based on respect, understanding, and selflessness. Embracing Stoicism in practice. Now that we've explored the Stoic principles that can guide you away from chasing women and toward a more fulfilling approach to relationships, let's delve into practical steps to implement these teachings in your life. Number 1. Self-reflection. Start by taking time for self-reflection. This practice is a cornerstone of Stoicism, and it's essential for understanding your own motivations, desires, and weaknesses. Spend time thinking about your past relationships and the patterns you've noticed. Why did they succeed or fail? What were your expectations and how did they affect the outcome? Understanding your own thought processes and emotions will help you make more rational decisions in the future. Number 2. Practice self-improvement. As Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. Channel your energy into self-improvement. Work on becoming the best version of yourself, not to impress others, but to live a life of virtue and inner strength. Pursue hobbies, education, and personal growth that fulfill you and build your character. Number 3. Develop patience. Impatience often drives the pursuit of women, leading to hasty decisions and actions. To overcome this, practice patience in all aspects of your life. Recognize that the best things come to those who wait. Patience allows you to make more thoughtful and rational decisions, especially in the realm of relationships. Number 4. Cultivate gratitude in the pursuit of women. It's easy to focus on what you lack rather than what you have. Shift your perspective by practicing gratitude. As Marcus Aurelius emphasized, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Take a moment each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This practice can help you find contentment within yourself and reduce the need to chase external validation. Number 5. Respect autonomy in your interactions with women. Always respect their autonomy and choices. It's crucial to acknowledge that everyone has their own desires and paths in life. Instead of trying to change someone's mind or make them conform to your wishes, respect their individuality. If a person is not interested, move on graciously and without resentment. Number 6, reframe rejection. As we discussed earlier, rejection is a part of life, and it doesn't define your worth. When faced with rejection, practice the Stoic mindset of reframing it as an opportunity for growth. Use it as a chance to strengthen your resilience and self-control. Rejection doesn't reflect your character or value as a person. It's merely a circumstance that can help you learn and improve. Number 7, build meaningful connections. Shift your focus from pursuing women to building meaningful connections. Approach each interaction with authenticity and respect. Be genuine and show interest in the person you are connecting with. Building a solid foundation based on mutual respect and understanding will lead to more satisfying and lasting relationships. Number 8, let go of external validation. Stoicism teaches us the importance of finding validation within ourselves, rather than seeking it from external sources. Free yourself from the need for constant approval or attention. Cultivate self-sufficiency and inner strength, so you don't have to chase validation through relationships or external sources. Number 9, practice emotional control. Develop the ability to control your emotions and reactions. Stoicism places great importance on maintaining composure and rationality, even in challenging situations. When it comes to relationships, emotional control will help you navigate complex dynamics with grace and integrity. Number 10, pursue virtuous love. Embrace the Stoic idea of virtuous love. This means focusing on love that is based on wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. Make it your aim to develop a love that is grounded in respect, selflessness, and moral principles, rather than the pursuit of fleeting pleasures. The Stoic perspective on long-term relationships, where we've explored how Stoicism can guide you away from chasing women and towards a more balanced approach to dating. It's equally valuable to consider how these teachings can shape long-term relationships. After all, successful long-term relationships require a commitment to the same Stoic principles that we've discussed so far. Number 1, embrace virtue. In Stoicism, virtue is at the heart of living a good life. To apply this in long-term relationships, ensure that your actions and decisions are guided by wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. The goal is to be a virtuous partner and to seek a similar virtuous character in your significant other. Number 2, maintain self-control. Self-control is essential not just during the pursuit of women, but throughout the course of a long-term relationship. Your ability to manage emotions, especially during conflict, aches, and challenges, is vital. Stoicism teaches you to take a step back, assess the situation rationally, and respond with self-control rather than impulsiveness. Number 3, cultivate patience. Long-term relationships inevitably bring challenges and difficulties. Stoicism emphasizes patience as a virtue. You must accept that not everything will go your way, and some issues may take time to resolve. Patience allows you to weather storms and appreciate the process of growth in your relationship. Number 4, respect autonomy, just as you respect the autonomy of women. In the pursuit of relationships, continue to honor the autonomy and individuality of your partner. In a long-term relationship, healthy relationships are based on mutual respect and support for each other's choices and life paths. Number 5, handle rejection gracefully. Even in long-term relationships, rejection can take different forms, such as disagreements, differing opinions, or changes in feelings. Stoicism encourages you to handle rejection or setbacks gracefully, using them as opportunities for personal growth and improvement, both individually and as a couple. Number 6, nurture meaningful connections. As your relationship progresses, continue to build on the foundation of meaningful connections. Open and honest communication, shared values, and mutual respect are the cornerstones of a healthy long-term relationship. Strive for a partnership that remains genuine and fulfilling over time. Number 7, find contentment within. Stoicism teaches that true contentment comes from within, regardless of external circumstances in a long-term relationship. This means you should not rely on your partner to provide constant happiness or fulfillment. Instead, continue to cultivate contentment within yourself and share that sense of inner peace with your partner. Number 8, maintain freedom from attachment. Long-term relationships can sometimes lead to an unhealthy level of attachment, which can be detrimental to both individuals. Stoicism advises maintaining a sense of freedom from attachment to external factors. Even when deeply committed to a relationship, this freedom allows you to love your partner without being dependent on them for your happiness. Number 9, embrace Stoic love. In a long-term relationship, Stoicism encourages you to practice what we could call Stoic love. This type of love is characterized by selflessness, understanding, and a commitment to the well-being of your partner. It is a love that transcends mere desire and aims for the betterment of both individuals involved. Number 10, continue emotional control. The ability to control your emotions remains paramount in a long-term relationship. While the initial stages may be filled with passion, the long haul will test your emotional stability. Stoicism equips you with the tools to maintain main composure and rationality, even in the face of complex relationship dynamics. As you navigate long-term relationships, the Stoic principles you've learned about offer an invaluable guide to maintaining a fulfilling, respectful, and enduring partnership. The teachings of Marcus Aurelius underscore the importance of virtue, self-control, patience, respect, and emotional composure. For a while, I faced a pretty tough period in my life, struggling every day in a job that left me unfulfilled. In this setting, I had to deal with various people telling me what to do and what not to, on top of dealing with challenging colleagues and a tumultuous relationship. Honestly, I felt pretty negative about all of it, realizing I was losing control of my life. Each day seemed like a never-ending hard battle. As if I was at my low point on one of those days, aimlessly browsing YouTube, I stumbled upon a fascinating video titled How Stoicism Can Transform Your Life, based on a book by contemporary philosopher Ryan Holiday. That's when I discovered Stoicism, something I'm extremely grateful for. Unplanned, I began incorporating its concepts into my daily life, studying more about the subject and reading various books. And that's when my life started to change. After devouring over a dozen books on the topic, I became so captivated by this philosophy that I decided to share it with others. The transformations were incredible. Anxiety and stress turned into calmness and inner peace. My choices became more lucid and aligned with my values and virtues. Most importantly, I began to find deeper meaning in each day. Now, I want to share with you how Stoicism can be a turning point to transform your lives. Let's dive into the foundations of this philosophy and see how they can be applied in today's world. Moreover, we'll discuss how these principles can be a valuable guide to face the challenge of rebuilding a more meaningful life. Thus, if you are poised for this voyage of personal revelation and transformation via Stoicism, I extend an invitation to accompany me to the conclusion of this video. It is destined to rank among the most profound presentations on this channel. Let us embark with my initiation into Stoicism, a beacon in the darkness of my existence, absorbing the teachings of Stoic luminaries such as Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Zeno. I was ushered into a realm of extraordinary sagacity. Stoicism, succinctly put, is a philosophical pursuit centered on cultivating virtue, self-mastery, and insight. Its core principle posits that although external events are beyond our sway, we wield influence over our responses and perspectives. This grants us a formidable instrument to navigate life's variegated challenges. A critical element of Stoicism is discerning between what lies within our sphere of influence, our thoughts, deeds, and choices, and what eludes our grasp, such as external occurrences. And the viewpoints of others. Stoicism imparts the wisdom of investing our efforts in areas we can effect change instead of expending energy on the unchangeable. However, this philosophy transcends mere conceptualization. It endows us with tangible methodologies for daily existence, aiding in the management of stress, anxiety, melancholy, in decision-making processes, and in seeking authentic and enduring felicity. Throughout this video, we shall delve into Stoicism's fundamental tenets and their practical implementation. We shall converse about the significance of tenets like virtue, fortitude, acceptance, and conducting ourselves in alignment with our core principles. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by life's demands, wondered how to find calm in chaos, or sought practical directions to improve your life, this video brings valuable teachings and perspectives for you. Stoicism could be the key to a new beginning in your life, opening doors to a richer, more meaningful existence. However, it's important to remember that this philosophy is here to guide and provide direction. The real action must come from you. No philosophy can transform you completely. You also need to engage in this transformation. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep up with the valuable tips I'll be sharing on this journey to becoming a true Stoic. Let's move forward together to discover how this ancient yet still so relevant philosophy can change our lives as it profoundly changed mine. Now imagine if you could restart your life, have the ability to press a reset button and start all over again. Would you do it restarting doesn't necessarily mean forgetting or disregarding your past in reality. It's about absorbing the lessons from lived experiences, using this accumulated wisdom to shape a brighter, more promising future. Marcus Aurelius taught us that what stands in the way becomes the way. Everything you need is to take the next step. As he said, take the next step. No one can stop you. Starting anew is an art, a balance between learning from mistakes and moving forward with renewed hope. Our reactions to situations reflect our own perception. If we see the world as a hostile place, we act defensively. But if we approach it with kindness, our actions reflect love. Stoicism encourages us to question and adjust our perception of life, to see reality objectively and clearly without being blinded by uncontrolled emotions. As Seneca pointed out, we often suffer more in our imagination than in reality. Sometimes suffering is caused by something that hasn't happened yet or exists only in our minds. What if we saw every obstacle as an opportunity for ourselves? True Stoics view challenges not as fates of destiny, but as exercises to strengthen the spirit. This can open a new path, taking us even further than we were. They encourage us to see difficulties as chances for growth, reminding us that just as fire purifies gold, adversity perfect, strong individuals strengthening and improving us day by day. This is what makes me a follower of Stoicism. Everything we face in our lives can eventually shape our existence. This is what makes Stoicism so amazing and relevant. In Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, he wasn't sharing his words with the world, but his deepest reflections, daily reminders to live with authenticity and purpose. They show that the internal dialogue we maintain with ourselves is crucial in our lives. Therefore, we must be our own friends. I'm not saying we don't need companionship, but that we should value our own presence anywhere. Finding happiness in ourselves, regardless of others' dependency on others' happiness, can be the biggest trap. Stoicism reminds us of the transient nature of everything: happiness, pain, success, failure, and encourages us to live with detachment, valuing significant moments, but always ready to let them go. Epicus reminds us that everything has a cost. Choose what to value and be ready to give up the rest. The Stoic journey, though not easy, is extraordinarily rewarding. It teaches us to value ourselves, find strength in difficulties, and live with purpose. Dealing with disrespect or other challenging situations silently can be tough, but it's essential for a fulfilling life. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living in harmony, not just with the outer world, but also with our inner nature. Ask yourself, am I acting according to my true desires and principles, or am I just reacting to others' expectations? Remember, we are constantly evolving, and our thoughts shape our lives. Often we try to please others, seeking external validation, forgetting our true essence. Stoicism invites us to recognize our internal worth independent of others' opinions. As Epicus said, true freedom is not being subdued to the will of others. In other words, the key to being a new you is your self-accepting. It's not the same as resigning, it's understanding reality and acting wisely. Acceptance means recognizing what's beyond our control, but maintaining the ability to control our reaction to these events. It's about understanding reality and deciding how to deal with it. Instead of waiting for the storm to pass, we learn to dance in the rain. The present is the only time we truly have. The past is a memory, and the future an uncertainty. True power lies in the now. Worrying about the future or dwelling on the past distracts us from the present unfolding before us, keeping us trapped in a vicious cycle. The Stoics didn't just talk about their philosophy. They lived it every day, constantly striving to improve, learn, and grow. What legacy do we want to leave? Stoicism teaches that it's our actions, not just our words, that define our legacy. Life is measured not by the number of breaths, but by the moments that take our breath away. In a world where people often seek to take advantage of us, remembering the power of silence, both external and internal, is crucial. In silence, we find clarity, purpose, and a deeper connection with ourselves. This space allows us to reflect, recharge, and focus on what's essential. Following Epictetus's advice, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. We realize that often the secret to moving forward is letting go of what holds us back, whether it's an old resentment or an outdated perception of ourselves. Through Stoicism, we find that freedom to pursue our true potential. The quality of our thoughts is crucial to the happiness we experience more than wealth, power, or status. Valuing virtue, the manifestation of good in our actions, means act with integrity, authenticity, and kindness. We must reflect on which virtues we are cultivating on our journey. As Zeno of Citium reminds us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it on trivialities. Life, filled with inevitable challenges, can't be ignored. But Stoicism teaches us that what's essential isn't what happens to us, but how we respond to it. Don't waste your time on trivialities. Always seek to evolve, for it is through this evolution that anew you can emerge. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity. Purchase the ebook Now Stoicism in the 21st Century: Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. Every challenge is an opportunity for learning, growth, and strengthening, as Epicus put it in life. It's not about avoiding wounds, but not surrendering to them. When we were younger, the future seemed like an endless sea of possibilities. So why does it now feel like nothing works? Analyzing your actions, discerning what worked and what didn't can be a watershed. However, as it happens in many journeys, a shadow fell upon mine. Alcohol, once an occasional refuge from the world's chaos, became a daily necessity. It darkened my days and made my nights bleaker. I found myself drinking daily, surrounded by superficial freeing ships, based only on the presence of a drink, without which there was no friendship or relationship. Happiness became elusive, and the relationships I valued began to crumble. It was then, at the height of this spiral of self-destruction, that the video about Stoicism mentioned at the beginning of this text introduced me to this philosophy. It was at that moment I realized what Stoicism truly is. That video marked the beginning of a new phase, deciding to be a different person, adopting Stoicism as my philosophy of life. I hope this text is the starting point for your new beginning. So comment, I will be a new person, and today's date. Let's start a renewal here. And now, just as Seneca described how unchecked passions can imprison us, I reflected on my self-imposed prison and how alcohol addiction dominated my life. And inspired by the lessons of Marcus Aurelius Epicus and other Stoic philosophers, I began my journey towards sobriety. I learned about the importance of self-control, resilience in the face of adversity, and understanding that while we can't control everything that happens to us and what people say, we can control our response to these events in a way that they don't affect us today. Several years after this turning point, I have left behind the previous version of myself. Every day I am grateful for encountering Stoicism. At that critical moment 4 months ago, I completed 2 years without a drop of alcohol because I decided to change, to be different. And you, how long will you wait to change? This philosophy taught me to value life, face challenges with strength, and find a true sense of freedom. Alcohol no longer controls my life. Now I am the captain of my own clarity and purpose. Now my mission is to share all these teachings with you. Although the journey hasn't been easy, Stoic teachings have been a beacon in the darkest and most difficult hours. Here are some suggestions to develop skills and incorporate transformative practices into your daily life. By applying them from today, or rather from this moment, you'll be on the path to complete renewal and a clear, directed future. 1 morning reflection time. Dedicate a few minutes each morning to meditate, reflect on your experiences from the previous day, and visualize how you want your current day to unfold, mentally preparing for challenges and maintaining calm in stressful situations. 2. Gratitude journal. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day in a journal. This helps focus on the positive and appreciate life's small joys. 3. Regular physical activity. Engage in regular physical exercise. Stoics valued a healthy body, be it through walking, running, yoga, or any activity you enjoy. 4. Principle of control. When facing challenges, remember the Stoic principle of distinguishing between what you can control and what you can't, focusing on making wise decisions and serenely accepting what is beyond your control. 5. Self-discipline. Cultivate self-discipline in eating, finances, and time management. Set realistic goals and work towards them consistently. 6. Nightly self-assessment. Before going to sleep, reflect on your day's actions. Assess if you acted according to your values and Stoic principles, identifying areas for improvement and planning. 7. Learning from inspirational examples. Explore books or biographies of figures who embody Stoic values, such as St. Epicus and Marcus Aurelius, learning from their experiences. 8. Detachment from others' opinions. Avoid overly worrying about what others think. Focus on acting according to your own principles and values. 9. Awareness of life's impermanence. Remember the inevitability of death, using it as motivation to value life and make mindful decisions. 10. Skill development. Dedicate time to learning or improving skills. Personal growth is essential in Stoicism, increasing confidence to face challenges. 11. Accepting the uncontrollable. Recognize that there's no harm in what happens to you unless you choose so. Accepting the uncontrollable reduces distress. 12. Valuing authenticity. In relationships, seek genuine and mutually beneficial relationships based on virtue. 13. Daily reading of philosophical texts. Commit to daily reading of philosophical texts or Stoic authors, reflecting on their teachings and applicability in your life. 14. Contemplation of mortality. Set aside moments to ponder your mortality, helping to contextualize daily concerns and value available time. 15. Cultivating positive self-respect. Face challenges with self-compassion and motivation, instead of self-judgment for factors outside your control. 16. Altruism and community involvement. Look for ways to help others without expecting rewards, strengthening a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Remember, Stoicism requires constant practice and doesn't promise immediate changes. But over time, these practices can transform your life and mindset in the face of challenges. Remember, the obstacle is the way. Seek growth and learning in adversities. Maintain balance in desires and emotions, and cultivate emotional self-discipline. Practice empathy, control negative impulses, and establish healthy boundaries for your mental and emotional health. In summary, Stoicism presents a powerful path for personal transformation. We've discussed a series of daily practical wise inspired by this ancient philosophy that can help you cultivate self-discipline, resilience, and serenity in everyday life. It's important to jot down every relevant aspect of this text, as this will be crucial for your development. The practices range from morning meditation to empathy and serving others, providing the necessary tools to face challenges with calm and focus. However, the key is action. As Marcus Aurelius said, take the first step. It's not enough to just know these ideas, it's crucial to apply them daily. Start today, choose one or more of these practices, and observe how your perspective and well-being transform over time. If this text has been helpful, and you want more guidance on personal development and practical philosophy, show your support. We are interested in hearing how these practices impact your transformation journey and what topics you'd like to see covered in future texts. Remember, the path to a richer and more meaningful life begins with small daily actions and the constant application of Stoic principles. Following the tradition of this channel, I propose a reflection. Have you ever faced a major challenge in your life? How could the application of Stoic principles have influenced your perspective or helped in that situation? If you think you would have benefited from this philosophy earlier, share your experience in the comments. Thank you all for your ongoing support and presence. I hope this reflection has been helpful, and if you really want to change your life, there are some important actions to start doing first thing in the morning. We've left a video here for you. Stay with the Creator, everyone.